I, 26 female, have an older sister, 28, with whom I'm still nursing a past grudge. When we were in high school, she started dating my first love. She knew I liked him, and not only did she not care one bit, she even rubbed it into my face that she got the guy that I wanted. Worst of all, she didn't even like him that much because she ended up cheating on him with a college freshman. So, to me, the only reason she even seemed to have dated him was to spite him. Back into the present, my sister's now married to her husband, 31, a different guy from both of the previously mentioned ones, whom she found out was cheating on her a couple of months ago. Their marriage has been in shambles since then, but my sister's still trying to save it. Honestly, I can't say that I'm feeling sorry for her at all. All of us went to one of our cousin's baby showers, and there my sister was publicly requesting her husband to let her check his phone. That started an argument between them, where her husband asked why he's never allowed to check her phone as well. And my sister said some crap about she's never been unfaithful, unlike him. Something in me just couldn't allow that lie to go by, and I seriously asked her, "You're joking, right?" She asked me what the heck I was talking about, and I reminded her of how she dated my first love back in high school and how she ended up cheating on him, just like her husband did to her. A huge circus followed after where her husband accused her of being a cheater herself and a hypocrite, and where my sister tried to argue that it was different and didn't compare to what he did to her. Other family members tried to break up their argument afterward, but then my sister came at me, yelling that I'm a sad, pathetic excuse of a human being who has nothing going on in her life than to stir the pot in other people's lives, and I ended up cursing her pretty badly as well. Safe to say that cousin's get-together's been ruined. The atmosphere in our family's been incredibly awkward since then, and my sister and her husband haven't spoken to me since that incident. My parents are blaming me for the fact that my sister will probably not show up at our Christmas dinner and for making the atmosphere in our entire family. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Seriously, are you still angry about something that happened a decade ago when you were a teenager? Big deal. Your sister dated your first love. Now her very real adult marriage is having issues, and you want to shame her publicly? It's not even her first love. It's her first unrequited obsession with a guy who never thought about her. This is wild. I can't imagine being 26 years old and still being angry that my sister dated a guy I had a crush on in high school. First love? LMAO. She ruined your cousin's baby shower bringing this up. To still be holding a grudge about it a decade later is just ridiculous. Move on from it already. LOL, not the idiot. I mean, you are wrong for contributing to ruining your cousin's baby shower. You should apologize to your cousin for that and get her a great gift to make up for it. You only told the truth. If your sister doesn't want the family to butt into her marriage, then she shouldn't be making a spectacle at family gatherings. I think everyone's the idiot here. Regarding the high school guy situation, you never claimed your guy or anything. It sucks that your sister did that and then cheated. Teenagers are super messy, but she couldn't have stolen something from you if it wasn't yours. I don't know how trauma-inducing this was for you, but if it's just a grudge, then it's just a grudge. Let it go, Chief. It's not going to do any good for you. Regarding the marriage, he cheated on her. For someone so adamant on accusing your sister of cheating in this one instance, you're super lenient towards a confirmed cheater. That makes me think you despise cheating when it's convenient for you. They could have ruined their own marriage on their own accord, but you had to step in and make it about yourself. If you really want to make your life's purpose stirring the pot just for your sister, then go ahead. You can ruin her life for the next 60 years without ever thinking of your own happiness. 6 months ago, my 24 female best friend Tess, 26 female, asked me to be her maid of honor for her wedding. We've been friends for years now, and I love her a lot. She's always been there for me, and we've been through a lot together. Tess was the most excited about her bachelorette. She had been talking about it even before she got engaged, which is why I feel so guilty. I also helped her plan out her Vegas trip. We were supposed to leave this week. But a few days ago, Jason got laid off from work. Even though he saw it coming, it hit him hard. He's just stressed and upset. He didn't even tell me at first because he didn't want me to worry, but I knew I couldn't go anywhere when he finally told me. I was conflicted, and I knew what this meant to Tess and that I was the maid of honor, but I just couldn't even consider going to Vegas while Jason was this upset. He's a strong guy, but he shouldn't go through this alone. I worked up the courage to call Tess, and it went much worse than planned. Tess thought I was joking at first, and then she just became furious, which is understandable, but I wish she understood my situation too. At first, Tess told me to do whatever and cut the call, but she didn't respond when I tried contacting her again. After that, she sent me many messages saying that I was stealing her special day and started questioning why I accepted to be maid of honor if I didn't want to do the duties that came along with it. She said I'm untrustworthy and jealous, ruining her special moment for a guy I've only known a year. I'll admit I usually don't accept Tess's offers to go clubbing, and she blames that on Jason being controlling. But in reality, I've explained that I've just turned into a homebody because I never really enjoyed that stuff in the first place. I still go out with her often, making sure I'm there for her. But for her bachelorette, I was willing to do that and more. I did want to go and make it special. She told me that her whole plan would fall through because I was the one with the plan. I told her, I'll explain it all to one of our other friends. But she said I don't have to because I'm no longer her friend. And that hurts a lot to hear. On the one hand, I don't regret my decision. Jason needs me, and Tess should understand how difficult this is for us. But also, this is a once-in-a-lifetime trip, and she's been dreaming about it forever. I'm also the one who plans a lot of the stuff. Our mutuals have also reached out to let me know that Tess was very angry and that what I did was not cool. Now I'm doubting myself, and I need to know if I have to apologize. Man, why can't I find a magic guy worth throwing away friendships for? You are the idiot. He lost a job that he knew was coming. What support does he need? No one is sick. No one died. He needs to put on his big boy underoos and start job hunting. If he can't handle this for one weekend, then your codependency is off the charts. Yeah, I'm sorry, but Jason can manage himself for a weekend without you. Even if he is sad about something, he's a big boy who can make plans with other friends and family and take care of himself while you're gone. You bailed on your good friend to just sit home and hold his hand. You owe your friend a huge apology. At this stage, I think OP could apologize until she's blue in the face, but that friendship is over. But too busy playing mommy and nursemaid to boyfriend's extreme upsetness? LMAO, OP is so the idiot here. She wouldn't be my best friend, that's for sure. OP sounds like one of those women who completely turned themselves inside out for whatever guy they're dating. Always a very annoying character trait when you've got a friend like that. And she's probably going to be one of those chicks that you hear about that attends boyfriend's job interviews like one of those helicopter parents. LOL. I would hate to see what she does when he gets a cold. Jason thinks I'm right. There. That right there tells you everything you need to know. I bet he thinks you're right because it benefits him and no one else. I, 34 female, have one daughter, April, a young grammar schooler, from a previous relationship. She's autistic but has improved a lot since starting the various kinds of therapy I keep her in to help her cope. She still struggles with sensory issues, especially with her clothes. She only feels comfortable in a very soft cotton fabric or similar texture. Anything else and a meltdown soon follows until she can change. She looks so genuinely miserable, so I have no problem just letting her wear the type of textured fabric she wants. I know because of her autism, it feels like a much bigger deal to herself than me or anyone else. Besides this fabric issue, she's well behaved about getting dressed and anything else. I've been dating Dan, 34 male, for a little over 2 years. He recently proposed, and we've just begun the wedding plans. He has no children of his own. Instead, he has a whole army of nieces and nephews. I've gotten along with this family very well. They've all been very kind to my daughter and me. This year's the first time we'll spend Christmas with Dan's family. They all spend 1 to 2 weeks at his grandparents' huge ranch and home. My mother-in-law's also been kind, but she's a bit of a perfectionist. I've seen her spend hours nitpicking things to meet her standards. Dan says she's been this way his whole life. She's tried to take control of our wedding choices a couple of times. What flowers, decor, venue, etc. But luckily, Dan's pretty good at telling her to back off. She recently asked to include April in a family Christmas tradition. After they had all gone to church on Christmas Eve, they gather up all the kids under 10 years old to take a group photo. Of course, they take many others of the whole family, but they've taken this specific photo every Christmas for 10 plus years. They say it'll be nice to look back and see who all the little kids were for each Christmas year. I didn't fully understand it at first, but it sounds sort of cute. The issue is that all those girls and boys wear matching Christmas outfits. The boys are in tiny little Christmas suits, while the girls are all in those black velvet and plaid dresses you see little girls wear everywhere during Christmas. My mother-in-law even said she had one hand-me-down from one of the older nieces that would fit April perfectly. I took it home and got April to try it on. She hated the texture and was miserable, stressed, and itchy within a minute of wearing it. Even with the short time she had it on, she started having a meltdown. I quickly took it off. I returned to my mother-in-law and said that while I appreciated her offering the dress, it wouldn't work for us. I said I'd look around local stores and online to get a dress that looks the same or has the same color theme. It'd have to be tolerable for April to wear. My mother-in-law got upset and said any dress other than the design she originally showed me wouldn't match all the other kids. She also had a hard no on the different outfit, same color idea. She said it would ruin the perfect balance in the picture. I tried to explain April's autism and how genuinely distressed she gets, but my mother-in-law didn't listen and cut me off. She said my daughter's incredibly spoiled if I can't even force her to wear an uncomfortable dress for one night in a snarky voice. She also hinted that she thinks April's diagnosis is an excuse to let her wear or do whatever she wants. She rolled her eyes and said once my daughter grows up, she'll get a hard hit from reality, and I should show her some tough love to help her learn that you don't always get to do what you want. Her rudeness upset me, and I said that since my daughter wouldn't be able to match with her cousins perfectly, she doesn't have to be in that certain photo. She has such a fun time even just hanging out with the older cousins. I doubt she'll even notice or care. I felt a bit petty and hurt, so I ended with a quip about how I'd always thought those dresses weren't all that cute anyway. This is probably for the best. Mother-in-law huffed dramatically, and I went home. When I talked to Dan, he sided with his mom. He said she was trying to find special ways to include April in the family, and my refusing to participate was basically throwing the courtesy she offered right back in her face. He says I could have had April in a fabric she likes for the whole day and night, then change her to the itchy dress for 10 minutes to snap a couple of pictures. The thing is, I know if I knowingly force her into something she doesn't want to do, she'll be stressed and paranoid the rest of the trip. She won't be able to enjoy the whole experience quite as easily. If she starts to feel overwhelmed, which is a very high possibility with the dress and big crowd of family members, she'll probably start a very stressful meltdown. It's difficult to console her, and I felt like it would put a damper on the whole celebration. Honestly, I would have been okay with her not being in that one photo. I understand that my mother-in-law loves things to match perfectly and how a different outfit could be a bit jarring in the photo. There will certainly be dozens more April will have the opportunity to be in. My mother-in-law's attitude over the whole thing really put me on edge and made me a bit rude during the conversation. After talking to Dan, I'm wondering if I was too short and should have just sucked it up and worked harder to accept and compromise with my mother-in-law's attempts to include us in the family. It's always just been my daughter and I, so I'm not entirely used to the family drama. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your daughter does not need to be put through that for something as basic as a photo. A parent to mother-in-law The balance of a photo is more important than a child's real discomfort. Your daughter not participating in the photo is the simplest solution. Mom, you'll have to be your daughter's advocate many more times. Society does not take autism seriously. It is a disability, and you will tune into this kind of idiots plenty more often. Since Dan supports his mother in this, OP must cancel the wedding now. He will be a crap stepfather who won't give a crap about April's medical needs. The problem is that the mother-in-law is incredibly spoiled. She's used to getting whatever she wants. Once mother-in-law grows up, she'll get a hard hit from reality, and right now she should be shown some tough love to help her learn that you don't always get to do what you want. Your mother-in-law is projecting onto your child. She's so spoiled she thinks she can demand other people to put things on their bodies just because she wants it. Because she's spoiled and rotten, and the rest of the family enables her selfishness, she thinks everyone should do what she says when she says it. Don't harm your child for someone like this. Mother-in-law isn't trying to include everyone. Mother-in-law is the aesthetic mom everyone hates on the internet because they see children and other people as fashion accessories, not entirely independent humans. Yikes! My wife, 32, and I, 33 female, have been married for 5 years. We're both from Florida, but moved to another state a year ago. We jointly own a house back in Florida, which we turned into a rental property and rent out to Hubert, a retiree who's in his 80s and a very good tenant. Hubert has no family or people taking care of him. He can move around and live on his own okay, but is pretty frail. So whenever my wife and I travel back to Florida, which is rather frequent, we usually check in on him, bring him meals, fix whatever he needs around the house, etc. My mother-in-law had often visited our Florida house when we still lived there. She's been recently hinting that since she's retiring soon, she wants to move into the house and rent from us, which both my wife and I think is a bad idea because mother-in-law is saying she'll pay rent now, but we both know that it's not going to stick for long before she starts living there rent-free because we're family. Mother-in-law's also mentioned to other people in the family that once Hubert isn't renting the house anymore, which won't be very long because of how frail he is, she plans on arranging with my wife and me to move in. Last week, mother-in-law briefly saw Hubert while we stopped by the house so I could fix something for him. Mother-in-law commented in the car ride back that Hubert's looking frailer, that it's too dangerous for him to live independently, and that I need to prepare for when he moves out if something happens. That comment rubs me the wrong way because I know exactly where she's going with this. So I told her to mind her own business, and Hubert can die in the house if he wants to. I'm not asking him to move out, and it's none of her concern. Mother-in-law then said, God wouldn't want me speaking to an elder in that manner, and I responded that God wouldn't want her banking on an elderly person to die. That made her really mad, and she hasn't talked to me since. My wife is on my side and has spoken up for me to her mother multiple times in the past. Still, for this specific situation, we both have pre-discussed and agreed that I would take a bit more of the heat and the lead in saying no. We're not entertaining mother-in-law wanting Hubert to move out. Was I an idiot for my response? Not the idiot. You're being kind and caring to Hubert, who's made a home of your rental, and he may well want to live out his days there if he can, or doesn't need to go into residential care. You're wise not to let your mother-in-law move in and mooch in the future either. Kudos to your wife for backing you. Spot on. Here's hoping Hubert lives until he's 100. Tell your mother-in-law you don't intend to rent to her no matter what happens to Hubert, so she can leave the poor man alone. She'll be angry, but she's going to be angry either way. If you deal with it now, you'll probably spare yourself a lot of future drama. Renting to family is always a bad idea.